Welcome to BS Sessions, presented by AMPR Plaza, where you get the opportunity to go backstage with us and hear the untold stories of how your favorite local bands came to be and where they plan on going.
All right, welcome to the BS Sessions presented by AMPR Plaza. Tonight we have got the Vincents, a local Kansas City band, friends of mine, and we're glad to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I have a couple things I wanted to point out. First is we had the Vincents on AMPR Plaza Presents on Great Day KC May 27th, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And it was a huge success, so you guys did really well. Then we featured you guys last Friday at Fox 4.
Yeah.
Out on the lawn.
Yep.
So you guys were trying to make the rounds with you. So you'll be featured here also with AMPR Plaza Presents. Kind of a unique session that we're going to talk about. You guys got questions, answers, most of the stuff we talked about, but I'll run through these lists of things you guys go individually ask and answer, or if you want to answer, all of you, that's fine too. So how did you guys form the band? How long ago was it?
Well, we met in a band called County Road 5 that we were touring around the country with, which we did 250 shows a year?
Yeah,
about 250.
Something like that. We went all over the country. Most of the places you probably never wanted to see. Minot, North Dakota. Bismarck, North Dakota. A lot of North Dakota.
In the winter.
In the winter. Yeah. Doing 7-night-a-week gigs, backing up a singer. And then traveling in a renovated Oates bus, basically. It was Oklahoma State University.
Yeah.
It broke down more than it ran. But we toured around with that for a long time. Then when that band broke up, we just kind of liked hanging out and playing music together, so we kept doing it.
Who was the singer?
I was a guy named Dusty Sharp.
From Kansas City?
Yeah, I think he's from Basler.
Basler, Kansas.
Yeah. So how did you get hooked up with him?
I was the last join of that band, so I think Kellen was the first join.
Yeah, I was the first to join. Yeah.
Well, where are you from, Kellen? You're from Sedalia?
Wellsville, Kansas.
Oh, Wellsville.
Yeah.
And Dustin, you're Sedalia.
Smithville.
Smithville.
Yeah.
Well, who's from Sedalia?
He's Sedalia.
That's me.
Oh, you're from Sedalia.
I'm the Sedalia guy. Goober Burgers and State Fairs and all.
God, I love a Cooper burger.
It's gone.
I know.
It's gone. It's like a Verizon store now, I think.
So how did the Vincents, where'd the name the Vincents come from?
I think that was Dustin's idea.
Yeah, so I was a big fan of just names like that. We looked at the Dempseys.
That was kind of the inspiration.
Yeah, kind of the inspiration there. A great band out of Memphis for a while. And trying to figure out something. And one of my favorite songs, and one I think we all kind of like, was 1952 Vincent Black Lightning. And it was the right era, for the motorcycles and all that. And so came up with the Vincents, and it stuck.
Mm-hmm. Needed a short name, like a family name.
Right.
So.
I figured, I knew all three of your names and there wasn't a Vincent in it, so. And now how long have you been touring as the Vincents?
2 or 3 years at this point, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Which we took it, we've only really been taking it seriously this last year, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It was always kind of a side project, but it just kept going really well, and we felt kind of dumb to ignore it. So it's been fun.
It's working. Keep it up. And Chase, I know you've been with the Nace brothers,
About
Jimmy and
5
David,
years.
friends of mine, and I got to see you. First time I think I saw you was it was at a Knuckleheads. You guys were down there with the Rainmakers.
Oh, I probably don't remember that show then, most likely.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw you on the stage. I'm like, God, who's that kid on the stage? Oh my God! No, it was a great show. I think the Nace brothers were on first, then Bob and the guys came out and they played, and then all of you came out on the stage,
Yeah,
which was
fun.
freaking fantastic. So were you guys with other bands? Or are you playing currently with other bands?
No.
I've subbed in with a couple other bands, and I was in another band more recently. But definitely the focus was always going to, be the Vincents. I always had that feeling.
Yeah.
So,
How long have you been on the drums?
I've played professionally for 17 years, but I started when I was like 3.
On the drums?
Yeah.
Nice.
A little Mickey Mouse drum set I got for Christmas one year.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never asked him that. I didn't know. 3?
That's
I was
awesome.
3 years old. Yeah. That's when the interest formed.
I want to know if that drum set still exists and if we,
We
can
can
No.
use it.
if we
It
can bring
doesn't.
that back.
It doesn't. No.
I'm going to ask your mom.
We need to find one.
Mickey
anyway.
Mouse drum set.
So, for those that don't know, if you haven't seen the Vincents on stage, these guys are full of energy and will, at some point, even in the first set, exchange their instruments, and one will play the bass and go to the lead. One will play the drums. It just keeps moving. You guys obviously know all the instruments, or are you comfortable playing all those instruments?
I think I'm a hack on everything but the bass, but you can hack it on about anything with strings, pretty much.
Well, I think with the way you guys do it, you jumping around on the back of him when he has your bass, that was outstanding.
Thank you.
And the crowd loved it. I know they did.
Well, Dustin taught me most of that stuff. And we spent so much time in hotel rooms when we were traveling that it just, some of the guitar stuff kind of just rubbed off. And you were already playing a little bit of bass, but some of the bass stuff rubbed off, and we just kind of forced it on Kellen.
Yeah.
Well, Kellen, he's jumping around on those drums all
I'm trying to
night, too,
keep up
so.
with the energy level. Yeah. And that's
Well, sometimes you were starting it. So.
I was going to say, keep up. He's driving. He's driving it back there.
Okay, so I've got a few questions I'll ask you guys, and if you want to answer honestly, that'd be nice. If not, make up some bullshit line.
Cool.
All right, so Chase, what made you want to become a musician?
Oh, man. I don't think I ever really wanted to do anything else.
Really?
I think I was a pretty nerdy kid. Still am, just a nerdy adult now. But I think at like 13, I had an uncle, Carl Bopp, still plays around Illinois and Chicago and stuff. Great piano player, great flautist, I think would be the way to say that as well.
Flautist?
Plays the jazz flute, which is pretty cool. Saw him do it, and he made a living at it for years, and I just wanted to do it. Picked up the bass at 13, and then it was kind of from that point on, I had no other plan in life, really. That was really the only thing there was. Wasn't good at much else either. It wasn't built for football or anything. So.
At 13, you were in middle school?
Yep, 7th grade, and then I started playing professionally about a year after that. So at 14, I toured with a band called Hook that was a pirate metal band. We had a hit song called Ass Tampon. It's a great song, love ballad.
Pirate metal band.
Pirate metal band. We dressed up like pirates. They were all in their 30s, and I was 14. I don't really know how that happened or how my parents were okay with most of that. But
Creepy.
Traveled around with them for a little bit, and then I got a house gig doing the jam at Dickie Doo Barbecue in Sedalia when I was like 15. Sure. After that, and then 16, I started traveling to the city and playing with Gary Coble and Cold Sweat and a bunch of other guys kind of starting to play jazz.
On the upright?
Mainly on electric at that time.
Oh, okay.
And it was about a year later that I started really getting into playing upright. And then I just played around Jeff City and Columbia, and then kind of went straight to, I gave college like 2 weeks of a try before I gave up on it. And then went to right to Kansas City and started playing there, and haven't really done much else.
Cool. I think, why don't we go right down on this, this question. Dustin, why don't you go ahead and answer what made you want to become a musician?
So, growing up, my grandpa played bass. And so I'd always go over to his house, and we'd just drag instruments out. I had no idea how to play for the longest time, but he'd always drag out anything I wanted to play, go for it. And we'd make noises all afternoon. And then at one point, I believe it was a MDA telethon, my parents won a guitar lesson voucher playing bingo at the telethon. And so I started taking guitar lessons after that and just picked it up from there. It was one I didn't want to practice, but I wanted to keep playing and taking lessons. So that was always the way my parents got me to practice, was if I didn't practice, I'm not going to get to keep taking lessons, because I wanted to play. I wanted to
And you were how
keep
old?
going. So I started when I was 7.
7.
Yeah, actually picking it up and playing. And then actually first time on stage, I was 8. Played the Smithville Lake Festival talent show.
Were you paid?
So, no.
No.
Well, my uncle gave me a Susan B. Anthony quarter, which I still have.
Nice. Some things are better than money. And Kellen, I got to ask you, because that was a great story, so I'll ask you again. So
Yeah.
let's hear that.
Well, my parents are both musicians. My dad's a bass player, and my mom, she sings and plays piano and flute. And so I played music with my dad in a band in high school, and actually rejoined that band and played later on with him. And so that's kind of my background and how I got. They were always supportive in my music.
And how old?
How old?
When you started?
3 years old.
That's what I was trying to pull out of you. 3 years old. Okay, I just took my 3-year-old grandson to the monster trucks, and he could just yell.
That's a start.
Are your folks still? Are they playing around town?
My dad still plays and stuff. My mom not so much. My dad plays in a Christian group, actually, and they're playing about like once a month. Is kind of doing events and stuff like that, and
Oh, nice.
that's kind of what he's doing now.
And you sit in and play some gigs with him?
I haven't. No. They got a drummer. I play at church and stuff every once in a while, and
No, good.
yeah.
Hobbies, interest outside of music and playing. What do you do?
I'm a full-time nerd, man. Dungeons and Dragons, pretty been to that.
Attaboy.
I collect and restore old school Atari video game consoles, which
Really?
I don't think I could have a weirder thing that I do. But those are really the two things. Everything else is pretty much bass playing.
What do you do after you've restored them?
Play them.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and trade them and sell them, and
And there's a market for that?
there's people weirder than me that are willing to pay for them as well.
I like it.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I think that's fascinating. Dustin, what do you do for fun outside of playing in the band?
So he's gotten me into gaming and such some as well.
Rubbed off.
But not quite to the level of him. I'm more online gaming. But I've always been into cars. So my dad, growing up, that's how he made ends meet. He'd buy cars, fix them, and then sell them. So, there's pictures of me, I think probably 5 years old, out in the driveway, just standing in the engine compartment of a car. So always done that. I've got a 53 Chevy pickup that I've completely restored and
I saw that
go
picture.
to shows with. Yeah. So it's pretty fun. And then I'm currently working on a 29 Model A Roadster.
Wow.
That is a big project.
That does take a lot of time.
Yeah.
You have that kind of time?
Here and there. It takes
Guess
a while.
It's not a race, is
Yeah.
it? No.
Work on it when you feel the hankering.
Sure. And Kellen, what about you? What do you do for fun?
I practice drums a lot.
So you can be great.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like every day, just working on the craft.
Nice.
Other than that, hang out, do things around the house, projects around the house, and
So when you guys are out on the stage and you have messed up, how do you get around that? What do you guys do?
It happens frequently.
Yeah.
We'll usually look at each other, laugh. That's usually step one on the mistake thing. But luckily, we haven't had any major mistakes with all the stunts that we do on stage in years. Although we had plenty of mess ups with County Road 5. Dustin fell off the base in Lincoln, Nebraska, and kicked a hole in it. Knocked the bridge off. Land on your back.
And I'm guessing
Yeah.
that wasn't part of the act?
People thought it was.
We played it
did.
off.
They did.
We were opening for Turnpike Troubadours
Sure.
was it Uncle Ron's?
Yeah, at the time I think it was
In
still
Lincoln,
Uncle Ron's.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought we did it on purpose. I was like, do you think we have, as an opening act, have the money to buy a new upright bass every show that we play? Let's see. Yeah.
But, yeah,
Kicking the headstock.
and that's the one we still worked right through it.
Yeah.
'Cause I went down flat on my back,
Yep.
landed on my elbow, and kept on playing. Chase just throws the upright off to the side and went and grabbed his electric, plugged it in real quick, and finished the song.
Wow.
It was like the last tune.
Yeah, it was the last song of the night.
That poor bass has been, her name's Caroline, if you're curious, but that's been, the entire scroll headstock was rebuilt. There's been a hole kicked in the side of it.
Is that the one you're playing now?
That's the one I used with the Vincents, yeah. And
Yeah, it looks like you've had it a while.
it's been through, right before we left for like 2.5 months on the road straight, where we weren't coming home, there was an incident at our show right before there. I won't name names as who stepped on the bass.
Kellen.
And destroyed the headstock of it. And shout out to Dan Lawrence String Instruments, because he stayed up overnight to put it all back together, and then so we could leave the next day on tour, which was pretty cool. But I don't know, what else do we do when we mess up?
It's mostly just laugh at ourselves
Yeah.
or laugh at each other.
Well, I mean, really, the last couple times I've seen you, there's not a lot that I could tell that you messed up. I mean, you guys you're active, to say the least, so you're jumping around. I mean, there's a quick way to get out of that. So you guys, I mean, you have a distinctive sound, more of a rockabilly. In when you started the Vincents, was that what you were going for? Or is there some guys that are out there that led you to that are performers now?
I think it was probably the Dempseys, really.
Yeah, the Dempseys.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest influence we've had.
Which they're not around anymore, but the bass player Joe Fick plays at Robert's Western World in Nashville like 5 nights a week, I think. And it's
The Dempseys aren't around anymore?
no, I think they've been maybe 10 years or so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Probably
it's been a
more
while.
at least. But we just were obsessed with them for a while, and they were just such a great band. So that was kind of the idea. And the Stray Cats too.
Definitely. But yeah, just mainly trying to match the energy and the showmanship.
That's part of the rockabilly scene, right? I mean, that energy. I
Yeah.
mean, Seltzer had it. Jason and the Scorchers, if you guys ever followed
Oh,
them.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I got to see them in Lawrence many, many years ago when they were still Jason and the Nashville Scorchers.
Okay,
before
yeah.
they dropped the Nashville part, but same thing. I mean, just tons of energy. I mean, they were hitting that rockabilly pretty hard. So you guys have had some success here locally. Are you guys wanting to try to take that out and broaden the outside of the Kansas City market?
I think that's the game plan. That's kind of the next step.
In order to do that, so you guys will probably have to get on a bill with other bands. Is that the best way to get out?
That's one way of doing it. We've kind of been down the road before with County Road 5 and kind of how that went. So I think our kind of strategy now is just to start getting a little bit further out and picking places that we know we can get people to show up and start going from there. But other musicians are real helpful with that. People in other towns. And
So you guys are self-marketing, right? Promoting yourselves. And so outside the Kansas City market, what's your go-to? How are you going to find the venues that are going to be able to, to bring the Vincents in?
I think luckily, just because of how long we've been doing it and many places that we've played, we still know a lot of the owners and sound men and other musicians in those areas, and those people are really who get you into those bars. That other musicians vouching for you is probably the
number one.
the biggest thing. When the guy that plays there regularly can go, I've seen these guys and they're fantastic. If you can get a crowd here, they'll be great. So
do you guys take, will you take footage of other shows, send them off? I mean, is that still a thing, put your music on a disc and send it out? I mean, is that more on the video part of it now? I mean, are you guys getting clips of videos that you're doing and sending that to the bars and the venues?
video helps, but Kellen does most of our booking for us. So I think
we haven't done that. Right now the Facebook has all that, videos, pretty much, whatever they would need for, booking.
Because I would think with you guys, I mean, that would be huge. The energy that you have on
It is,
stage is
yeah.
the visual of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've got YouTube channel as well. So now it's a lot of, shoot out an email with that YouTube link, and hope it gets through to the right person.
Yeah. So I have, I think this question I had thought about the other day after you and I talked was, as far as performances that you guys as a band have had, what is your best performance and why, and what is, of course, the worst performance and why?
Oh, the worst could go on for days. If you let us include the previous band, we could talk for hours about worst performance.
Well, let's just keep it to the Vincent.
I think, what would be our best one we've had?
It's tough.
Nothing sticks out in your mind that was just, man, we kicked ass.
Well, here recently, like last weekend, we kind of had that feeling.
Yeah, we had the string of like 5 shows in 3 days, and it was one of those we felt like we were hitting on all cylinders all weekend, and it didn't matter how hot we got or anything. It was just go, 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 and it was just a blast. So much fun.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe because you were playing so much. It was autopilot. Yeah. So, worst? Anything that sticks out is the Vincent's? Besides the hole in the bass.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of those stories as well.
What about getting there? Or what's a tragedy story about getting to a show?
Ooh. So we've got that one.
Flywheel in Fort Worth.
Oh, I was thinking with the Vincents.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So one of the very first shows that we did, at the time I didn't have a camper shell or anything on the back of the truck, no way to haul, so we rented a U-Haul trailer to haul our gear. So when we were playing in Jeff City, so we get through Sedalia, and we're just on the other side, and one of the trailer tires just locks up. I mean, solid, just drug it all the way across the road, big black marks. So we ended up pulling in, it was a grocery store parking lot.
Save a lot, I think.
Yeah, save a lot. And had to unload the entire trailer into the bed of the truck, completely uncovered, drive the rest of the way to Jeff City to make the show in time, calling U-Haul, and we did. We did still make it. But yeah, called U-Haul on the way and like, hey, your trailer's in the parking lot, come get it. But oh man!
And the owner gave us hats. Remember that? I think that was the same show. He gave us hats that said "It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer." On them.
Yes.
And so that was pretty cool.
Was there any cages in front of you or any of that?
Not at that place.
No.
I've only been to one place, and I just thought it was for the movie that they did that. But I was actually in a place down in Austin, and this was years ago, and they did. Because it just got that rowdy at night.
Throwing beer bottles.
Everything got thrown up on the bar, yeah.
Oh wow!
Favorite big time bands? Who do you listen to on the radio, or who do you put in your ear when you're wanting to listen?
I think for me, my probably two biggest inspirations are the Beat Farmers out of San Diego, if you know those guys.
I'm not familiar with them.
And they had a run in the 80s. They were just they started as a rockabilly group. And they were just a wild band, but I fell in love with them at a pretty young age. I don't really know how I found them.
Farmers?
The Beat Farmers, and they were a very serious rock band, but then about halfway through the album, they would switch out where Country Dick Montana was their drummer, would come out, and he would sing a low-voice country song, and he'd go kick beers off people's tables out, and then they were just lunatics, but... you try to go out every year and see their reunion show in San Diego. They're great. And then the Rainmakers. So those two bands probably.
Yeah, it's a good band right there. Steve, Bob, and Rich.
Oh, yeah. And the standing drum kit, I still kind of miss that,
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I ran into those guys. That's where I ran into those guys. They were playing. That's where I ran into Jimmy and Dave, too, down at Blaney's. Both those bands were playing down there.
Heard many of Blaney's legends.
This was mid-'80s, I think, or in that time frame. What about you, Dustin?
So I think as far as rockabilly, I mean, it's got to be Brian Setzer for me. Just same deal, standing drum kit, and the way he played and all that. But as far as just straight up, guitarist, Tony Rice is one. I grew up bluegrass, and just his playing is it's kind of the end all be all for me. I love it.
You like the bluegrass sound?
Oh yeah, very much so.
I do too. I'm a big fan. I used to follow the Dead around quite often when I was younger, and I loved the Dead songs, but I really got into Jerry's bluegrass stuff that he did with Grissom, and I mean, man, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Helen, what about you?
Stray Cats for me.
Really?
When it comes to the rockabilly, yeah.
I love the Stray Cats.
Yeah.
I've seen them a couple of times, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this whole standing drum kit thing, that's totally a new thing for me, actually. I'm used to just playing behind a 4 or 5 piece kit. And so it wasn't until this group I actually tried doing that. And I love it.
It's working.
Yeah, I can do so many
Keep it
things.
up.
I can run around and just be a madman.
Definitely. I like it. All right. So this is a good one. And actually, it was phrased a little nicer than what I was going to put it. But what do you guys do when you're it's kind of there's 2 questions here. So you're going to be at a venue, right? It hasn't been marketed well, so you get there and there's not many people there, or you do get there and it's a dinner crowd, right? And everybody's just talking, and how do you guys handle that when there's nobody in the audience to speak of, and those that aren't paying attention?
That was the entire purpose for this band. When we were traveling so much before, we would play casinos and these 7-night-a-week gigs, like in Minot, North Dakota, on a Monday. Who is there?
In the winter.
In the winter, in January.
Nobody.
And, and we're playing 5 hours, and it's a contract that our agent has put together that we have to play those 5 hours, and they will not let you stop. There is no one in the bar. There's the bartender and us. And, so we started, hey, man, you play guitar, I'll play bass, you do whatever, and started jumping on top of it. That was the whole thing. So now when we're, have those gigs now, it's kind of like home base for us, man. We can entertain ourselves.
You made the best of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's always practice, but I mean, I know, and I've been at those places, and I feel bad for the bands, but I mean, and some of them don't react well. I mean, they're irritated. The bar owner or the venue owner, he's irritated, right? The guy sitting at the door for 3 or 4 hours doing nothing, he's irritated. I'm going to go ahead and give Mike Kelly a plug. Mike does a great job with local live music in Kansas City, and one of the reasons that I help to support and sponsor local live music is because of him and guys like him, Frank at Knuckleheads. Both those guys, they do a great deal. But mainly through COVID, he tried to keep a staff together with help with Jimmy and Dave and Walkenhurst and those guys putting on those shows and raising all kinds of money. But when you guys started out, you were once a week at Mike Kelly's, or once every other week?
I think they were doing the Nace Trio does the first Thursday, so we do once a month. And then with Norm and Jeff, they're doing every other Wednesday, so twice a month.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
It's kind of been the deal.
Now you guys are you playing at Mike Kelly's as well?
Yeah, we just played there. Was it last Thursday?
Yeah, this last Thursday.
And so they're talking about Mike's kind of wanting to do like a Saturday afternoon show kind of thing with us that we're working on. So.
Well, the reason I bring that up is I've been to Mike Kelly's when there was a band, and there was maybe 1 or 2 tables there, right? It was not good. But I've been there too when it was a packed house. I used to go there before Mike owned it, when Kiki had it, and the Bonton would just roll people in there. I mean, just unbelievable how many people they can fit into that little place. Knuckleheads. Also, I want to give a shout out to Frank and what he does over there. Now, are you guys, when you're playing Knuckleheads, is there a room that you prefer? Do you like the gospel room?
I think the saloon's probably my favorite. The main indoor stage. There's just something about that room. It sounds good. The vibe's good. Outdoors great. The garage is great. The lounge is great too. But there's just some kind of magic in the saloon, kind of being the original stage.
I'd like to actually see you in the gospel room.
We did it quite a lot for a while.
Yeah, we've done quite a few there.
Yeah.
I just love the sound of that room. I mean, that's a great room to see. And not that you wouldn't perform well in other of the other stages, but I just think that the sound is so good in there.
It's more of an intimate setting.
Yeah, I've seen many good bands. The last band I saw there was Amanda Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, she
Bring the house down in that room.
Yes. Dustin, you went into this a little bit. I think you guys did you have any of you have music teachers? I know your folks kind of got you going, but did you have music teachers as you were coming up?
Yeah, I did. I started taking lessons at Smithville Music. There, Tim Sublette is the guy I learned from.
Does he have a store?
Yeah, Smithville Music. It's right on 169 Highway in Smithville. Been there for years. Great teacher. Taught me everything I know. And I probably forgot more than I remember at this point. But and kind of knew when I got to a point that kind of started pushing me to either go to somebody else or just basically find my own sound.
Yeah.
But I think my funniest thing. So, like I said, I played bluegrass growing up, and I was with a group for about 9 years playing bluegrass through, I guess, before high school and then some after high school. And we played a show, and he was out there, and his greatest compliment of that show was, well, that didn't completely suck. And so that has been the goal from here on out, and these guys have heard me say it a million times. Like, the goal is always just not to completely suck.
Yeah.
You can suck a little bit, but just not completely.
Yeah. Has he come to see you?
Yeah, he has. I've seen him out quite a few times.
Yeah.
So
Did
it's
he-
great to keep in touch.
Do you try? Do you give back any when you have an opportunity?
Yeah, whenever I can. I know, my parents still live in Smithville, so whenever I'm up there, I try to stop in the store. And I know there's been a couple times he's like, "Hey, I don't know what this lick is. Can you come in and
Yeah.
show me real quick?" And I'll jump
awesome.
in. And
I will comment. Let's see. We were at Johnny's Jazz Bar, and I think it was somebody related to you, the kid.
yeah, my nephew.
The whole show.
Yeah.
Whole show. The kid danced as long as we were there, right? I mean, he was up there dancing. He needs something to do with his hands.
Yes.
Right? Because he can move his feet, but you need to get him something in those hands.
I agree completely.
He wants to be like you. He's emulating a good band, so you take advantage of that. How about you, Chase? Did you take lessons or anything?
Not really. I was always in like band in school and stuff. I took about a month's worth of bass lessons right when I started, but I can't really remember his name, to be honest with you. And then the brief stint
Lasting
in college,
memory.
very lasting memory. Brief stint in college was Craig Q. The great Craig Q was the bass teacher. Played with Protocaw and Jimmy Bratcher and all these fantastic people. Not that I was there long enough for him to, but he's a great teacher and a great guy. But honestly, most of mine, I wouldn't want to leave out Dave and Jimmy, because I think I've probably learned more from them in the last, 5 years or so than really anybody else, from everything from, music, of course, but booking gigs, how to talk to people, how to talk to bar owners, they're just 40-year veterans.
I know. Yeah, they are. And that's a great band to emulate. And for going on 5 decades, I think, for David, and Jimmy too. But I mean, think about that. 5 decades.
We like to say David Nace, day job free for 42 years. And, just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, playing with their dad and then going out and making it on their own. And they're content. It's not about the money. I mean, they got some fame on the Margaritaville, label for a while, but that's not it. It's about playing music.
It's something you just have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're back. They found some whiskey.
Now with whiskey.
That's going to make it much better. Okay, so wanted to kind of get into some of the things that you guys got going on this rest of this summer, this fall and winter. I think too, if you guys are prepared, I've got a little audience that maybe would like to listen to a couple, 2 or 3 songs if you're willing.
Well, now that we have whiskey.
Now we're going to get you liquored up. There was a reason behind all that, you know.
Yeah.
A couple other questions I had, I think, and I tried to select these, crafted these questions so the audience, these 2 guys, would really appreciate this. But this one I had at the top, and I missed it because my eyes suck, so I couldn't read it. But describe your favorite and least favorite part about being a musician.
Well, I think probably least favorite part, loading out. I think that's the part
yeah.
they pay us for.
Pretty much every musician.
The plan's free. It's the loading in, loading out. Sometimes upstairs. Sometimes they don't give you a parking space, so you're parking like a football field's distance away. And I play the bass, so it's kind of hard to carry it around from time to time. But favorite part, there's just kind of a feeling playing music that with people that you like and music that you like that you don't really get doing anything else. I think I've always kind of said that if you're a professional musician, you do it because you absolutely have to do it. There's just no other way to do it. There's a lot better professions in the world, so it's just something that you have to do. But getting to hang out with you guys is pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like the audience spurs that on? If you've got like a lot of people on the dance floor that you feel like you're doing your job and getting everybody in that mood?
Definitely helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to find the guy that's having the least good time in the place and just
fuck with it.
directly focus on that. And whatever I can do to get you to smile. And
Perfect.
sometimes it doesn't go well, but
He gets up and leaves.
yeah,
Throws something at
9
you.
times out of 10. But it was fun for me.
Are you guys writing any of your own songs? You going to put some music out on your own?
Yeah, we're starting to, and it's something we should have been doing a long time ago.
What is it these days to put a package, either a disc or whatever they call them, an album, I guess? How many songs?
I think 12's always kind of been the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything less than that, you're not really getting your money's worth out of it, I feel like. But
unless you're Buddy Holly.
yeah, I think a lot of people now do, kind of a song a month has kind of become the standard with streaming and stuff. People put out a song a month, and then at the end of the year, there's the album.
Collective.
Yeah,
excellent. Who does the writing? Is it a collaborative or?
it's been a pretty collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. One guy will have an idea, and then you just bounce it around until it becomes a song. And
Tragedies are always good. Well, those are country songs. Wait a minute. Which qualities do you think make a great musician?
I think a lot of it's being creative and just showmanship. Get up there, do your thing. Obviously you have to have the confidence when you get on stage, which is a very tough thing to get used to because you're really putting yourself out there when you go to play, But yeah, I mean, just being confident, get up there, be a showman, and
Look,
Yes,
be
got it.
comfortable and
Great answer.
look like you're having fun.
Because we usually are.
And we are.
yeah.
You guys,
and we are.
It's obvious. You guys support one another out there. I mean, you can tell. I mean, that's part of being a band too, but you guys especially. What is the best piece of advice another musician ever gave you? I'll let Kellen. Why don't you hit that one?
Yeah. Don't quit your day job, I guess.
No, I will say, and this came actually from my guitar teacher, and he had said, if you can think of doing anything else, then don't do it. And just as, it's a tough road being a musician.
How old were you when he said that?
I was maybe 16, 17 probably.
So you knew what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd
Sounds
been
like good
gigging
advice.
for a while. But yeah, and he was that way. He even said, if there's anything else he could have thought of doing, it would have been a better path to take. Yeah. But there was nothing else he wanted to do. And, Chase kind of touched on that. And
Yeah.
I think we've all felt that. I've tried a couple different times to go a different way, and it it never really works out.
What is the process with anxiety? Do you guys ever get worked up if you're on a big gig and you got to get out on stage?
Not particularly. I think the hardest thing for me with this band has been going from being a bass player for years and years and years that never was anywhere near a microphone to now they're like, hey, man, you handle all that. You talk to everybody and sing and all that stuff. But they're really good about kind of pumping me up.
Well, you're good at it.
Alcohol
indeed.
certainly helps, but
Of course.
yeah.
How do you handle traveling and being away from home for so long? I mean, is there something you guys are, when you're out on, say, multiple nights? I mean, is there, is it grueling? Does it get to you?
You start to miss home, certainly, and especially when we were traveling as much as we were before, and doing that almost 3-month run we did without going home was pretty rough, and for all of us, you start to miss everything. You miss your favorite chair, you miss whatever. You just want to be home.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of part of the job. I think like Dustin said earlier, if you can imagine doing anything else, you should probably do that. It's just kind of part of it. It's something you have to deal with.
And then the last question I had on the local scene, since you guys, Chase, I think you've kind of been asked and answered some of the guys that you're, you emulate, I guess, in the local scene. When you guys get asked to do something with another band, is there a particular band, somebody that you like to collaborate with? And what kind of band would that be?
Yeah, I'd say, definitely if they're similar music styles, that's always a plus. And if we like them, because I know we've jammed with Horton Heat. Reverend Horton Heat is a really fun one. But it's really comes down to, at the end of the day, are they nice? Are they cool about stuff? And just they see it as a true collaboration, not so much, you're opening for us, to
let you have the parking spot. That's
yeah,
important.
yeah, the parking spot. Don't take over the opening band green room.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of how it was this summer. I told you about the Elders. Well, they had the Cowardly Lions open up for them, who's been really successful the past couple of years here locally. But, how they choose those, I don't know. But I guess if you're, having an agency pick that for you, I guess you do that. But you guys book your own shows, so you just try to find someone that's similar in style and sound.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we work with a couple agents, but nobody exclusively. So,
So what this summer you've got July, August left. What do you guys got coming up?
I think probably our biggest ones is we're going to be at the Bud Tent at the Missouri State Fair twice. They had us twice, so they'll never prove their courage in another way. But we'll be there twice.
What is the Bud Tent?
The Bud Tent is a wonderful little stage right outside of the big grandstand stage at the Missouri State Fair in Sedalia. I think I turned 18, 21, and 25 on that stage, and so we'll be back there again. And then August 20th at Knuckleheads, it's going to be my 30th birthday and Jimmy Nace's 60th birthday. So it's going to be the Vincent's opening. We're going to start the show off. Jeff Porter is the middle act, and then the Nace Brothers to finish the night out. So that's going to be a pretty good time.
And then I'm sure all of you will find the way onto the stage.
After whiskey, I'm sure we'll find our way on stage.
That is outstanding. What about this fall? What do you got? Anything planned this fall, big event-wise?
We got lots of stuff coming up, I think. I think October 21st is going to be the Rockabilly Revival at Knuckleheads, which is going to be us. I think Popsicle Rebels are on that show, and a few other kind of rockabilly shows. So it should,
And that's October when?
October 21st.
Wow, I'm going to have to put that on my calendar. That'll be good.
It'll be a fun night.
What about winter? You guys going into the winter? You got things scheduled into the winter?
Yeah, we've got pretty regular gigs at Conrad's. There in Lee Summit. It's kind of been a home for us for a while. I think we're going to be back at Johnny's. But we've got, you can follow us on Facebook, Vincent's Rockabilly. And also, we're working on our website, but if you go to chasemcroy.com, there'll be a link to the Vincent's website there as well, so you can follow all the shenanigans and what town we might be rolling into.
Shenanigans. Okay. Anything else, Kellen? We probably need to hear from you a little, or maybe not.
He tends to get out of hand. So.
Yeah.
He's a drummer.
What do you wanna know?
I find that odd, actually. So I think if you guys want to finish your whiskeys and grab another beer, if you've got some time, maybe we get the equipment out and listen to a little music.
Yeah.
It's like a plan.
Let's do it.
Nights playing in Tulsa, pulling out, and we were headed west. Kellen grabbed his Gideons from the hotel in the desk, and we said, "Oh, what's the matter, brother? Are you worried about your soul?" He said, "Better safe than sorry, boys, 'cause that's just how he rolls." And we hit the road, feeling cool as Crosby, Stills, and Nash, overflowing with the Spirit, and my Bible on the dash. And said, "What would Jesus do? It's better than insurance registration or lying. It's better than all these fake IDs I keep on buying. Even better than an envelope stuffed with cash. They always said it saved me, my old Bible on the dash." Oh. Well, around these parts out here alone will make reasonable calls. And a tattoo travel through my county will obey my earthly law. Yes, we did our best to quote some holy red chapter and verse. What kind of music y'all make? Christian music, sir. Well, he contemplated and he thought about it and he twirled his top mustache. All right, y'all, be careful now. Just don't drive quite so fast. It's better than insurance registration or lying. It's better than all these fake IDs I keep on buying. Even better than an envelope stuffed with cash. They always said it saved me, my old Bible on the dash. Whoa. Oh, save their soul, Dustin. Well, crossing at the border a few months later, we heard freeze. Pull it over here, boy. We gonna do some search and see. Well, maybe if we'd been more famous, he'd have said just move along. If he'd have seen us on the TV, or if we had hit single songs, and he was just about to ask us where's the money and all my hash. I was hoping it'd save me, my old Bible on the dash. Well, his hand was on his pistol, and his dog was on his leash. And that shepherd, that he was like keeping a pretty close eye on his sheep. We got a list we're gonna look at, see if we can find your name. We got parabolic ways of being to hear everything you say. Got ultraviolet X-rays, I can see right through your body. Well, I guess we'll see if the good Lord's truly watching over us. It's better than a green card, and it's better than lying. It's better than all these fake IDs I keep on buying. Even better than an envelope stuffed with cash. Lord, I'm at the border with a Bible on the dash. All right.
Hey!
Folks. Don't pay attention. Black and stray cats in the fence. Ain't got enough to pay the rent. I'm flat broke, but I don't care. I strut right by with my tail in the air. Stray cat strut, I'm a Hades cat. I'm a feel like I know as a matter of fact. And a shoe thrown at me from a mean old man. And I got my dinner from a garbage can. Whoa! Oh, you're in for a real treat, folks. On the guitar from Smithville, Missouri, this is Justin One Guy. Now I don't bother chasing mice around. Oh no! I slick down the alleyway looking for a fight. Down into the moonlit on a hot summer night as I'm singing the blues. The lady cats cry. Stray cat, you're a real dog guy. Our encyclopedia is every wild. But I got cat class and I got cat style. Oh, you're in for a real treat, folks, on the upright bass all the way from Kansas City, Missouri. Mr. Jason Crowe is me. I don't bother chasing mice around. Oh no! I slick down the alleyway looking for a fight. Down into the moonlit on a hot summer night and I'm singing the blues. When the lady cats cry. Stray cat, you're a real dog guy. I wish I could be as carefree and wild. But I got cat class and I got cat style. Oh. Cat style, boys. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Look out.
All the way from Kansas City, Missouri.
I love it.
Well, it's a 1 for the money, and it's a 2 for the show, and it's a 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, don't you? Step along and switch. You can do anything with your father. You can knock me down, you can sketch my face, and you can say my name all over the place. But do anything that you wanna do. But oh, honey, lay off of them shoes, don't you? Step along and switch. You can do anything with your father. suede shoes. Hey, hey, blue, blue, blue suede shoes. 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 You do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes.
Yeah. Woo!
Thanks for hanging out with us on today's episode of The BS Sessions, presented by AMPR Plaza. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.